taught us to be respectful. But back in my day, you were, as a child, you had to sit in the corner. You were to be seen and not heard. It was the way we were raised. But nowadays, kids are all front and center all the time, and you just wonder, where did they come from? They're so active. They're always in front of people. We were kind of shy. We would sit behind our parents and kind of stand, and we were a little shy. However, my husband would say, I am not a shy person. I thought I was an introvert, but he says I'm not. So we have different perceptions of ourselves, but no, I do. I enjoy. But in terms of my experiences in civil rights things, because now I taught for about 9 years at Norfolk State, because when I got my master's degree, I came back to Norfolk and I taught there. And my kids, I was supervising student teachers, so I had to navigate again these slippery and kind of sticky waters, because back in those days they were still, Virginia was segregated and had these, the teachers did not want to receive black children as black students or student teachers and to help them. But I was a professor who had to work with the students who were going to become teachers. Therefore, they had to do student teaching in these integrated schools. I mean, the schools were integrated whenever they said they had to be, but there were the academies built for those kids who the parents really didn't want their kids to go to the integrated schools. They were bused to those schools and all of that. But the teachers would not help them with the plans and that kind of thing, so you had to work really hard to kind of help them to get to have enough thick skin to not be hurt and feel that that they were less than anybody else, but to stand up before the kids and to teach them and not feel bad that somebody has criticized them unduly or unjustly. So you had to navigate those waters too. So that was not really a pleasant experience. This was in the 60s because I left Norfolk State in about 72 when I moved up to the Washington, D.C. and taught at the Washington Technical Institute first, and then at D.C. Teachers College. And then I moved to Northern Virginia Community College, where I taught until I retired in 2004, 2007, because I worked a little bit differently. But so, in other words, growing up in Virginia and in North Carolina, during my years through high school, and for the most part through college, it was really a segregated society, separate lives, separate altogether. When I went to Columbia University is when there was more interchanging, because we met not only white people in our classes, we served on committees, we talked to people, and they were just people. And we had foreign students that we worked with and that type of thing. So that was when really I became sort of integrated into the larger society, I would imagine, and learned that there were people in the world, dark people, black people, who were not so-called second-class citizens, because they were, head of their own countries and that type of thing. But I guess one thing that sort of helped me to navigate through everything was that I never felt anybody else was better than me, because, my parents taught us to be strong and independent, even though they tried to teach us to do what we had to do in order to survive in society. And that is not to, be confrontational. So, in our society, and in my mother's society, her world was such that she did whatever she needed to do in order to, be safe and keep us safe and in our home, and so we were taken care of, and we didn't feel all those strains actually growing up. Of course, as I got older is when we started learning about what was actually going on out there in the outside world. So I guess they did their job very, very well because they protected us. We were not out on the streets or in the streets and that type of thing. So we didn't have all of the rough life, I guess, or fights with white people that I hear other students had who maybe lived close by where white people live. They didn't want the black kids walking down the street, and they were throwing rocks and that kind of thing and fighting all the time because white people didn't want them to walk through their streets to get to wherever it is they were going.